Hello, and welcome to Lakin High School Bronc Broadcast. I'm Abby Holmes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ariana Bachman. This morning we have a very interesting schedule. But first off, we have Community Spotlight and Week at a Glance with Lupita and Cass.
Thanks, Ari. Good morning. My name is Lupita Valletta, and today I will be discussing the Week at a Glance. We've had finals all week, and today is finally our last day. Tomorrow is the start of Christmas break. We come back the 4th of January, and all makeups have to be finished by the 6th. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. On to you, Cass.
Thank you. USD 215 administration just hosted another Community Coffee Connections on December 20th. At these meetings, the community is invited to engage in critical discussions of partnership, school happenings, and more. These meetings are held at Cottonwood Coffee from 8:10 to 9:10. If any member of the community would like to attend, the next meeting is scheduled for January 17th.
Thanks, Lupita and Cass. And now we have teacher input and some helpful tips with my co-anchor, Ari and Miley.
Hello, my name is Ariana Bachman.
My name is Miley Roth, and today we will be sharing teacher input on how to improve your grades for this next semester.
It's very important to start off strong with the new semester coming up.
Today we will be sharing some tips that you may not have already known on how to achieve good grades. Here's some advice from teachers on how to improve your study habits and your likelihood to excel in your classes.
The first teacher we talked to was Miss Guevara, and we asked her, "What do you think students should change going into the next semester?" Her response was, "Students need to be more consistent and detail-oriented. Implementing these habits at the beginning of the semester will lessen stress towards the end of the semester."
We also asked her, what do you think is the most important aspect of achieving good grades? She says, I think the most important aspect of achieving good grades is better opportunities in the future. Even if you don't know what you want to do after high school, your grades in high school should still matter. You won't ever regret having good grades, but you might regret not trying your best.
The second teacher we spoke to was Mr. Johnson. We asked him, "Do you have any tips for the students to be more successful this semester?" His response was, to stay organized, turn your work in. Quit procrastinating. When you have free time during class, flex, or work, put the phone down. The TikTok videos will be there, and so will the video games.
We also asked him, do you have any advice for students struggling with motivation to achieve good grades? He says, motivation comes from within. If you really want to get out of here, you have to pass high school. Also, realize that your boring life now is the easiest time in your life. Because after high school, you have to pay bills and everything else. Right now, you have it easy.
The last teacher we spoke to was Mr. Lovelady, and our question for him was, what do you think students can improve on going into the next semester? He said, I think students can improve their focus in the classroom and turning their assignments in on time.
We also asked him if he had any tips for students on how to improve their study habits. As for study habits, I think students need to understand what works best for them. For example, I have to read things over in order to understand something. He says, I had a friend in college who would copy all of his notes down over and over again. Some students may need to make flashcards or do practice problems. I think once a student understands how their own brain works, studying won't be as difficult.
Thanks, guys. I'll make sure to follow those tips next semester and hope to get better grades. And next up, we have some very interesting music recommendations with Leo and Alex.
My name is Giannis, and this is my partner.
I am Alex Robles, and we'll be doing music recommendations, and we'll start off with the 90s rap.
Who we have for today is Warren G, Tupac, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, and Biggie Smalls.
Now we'll be talking about Hispanic music. We have Ivan Conejo, Eslabon Armado, Junior H, T3 Elemento, and Santa Grifa.
Now we'll be talking about R&B. We have Usher, Bruno Mars, Tyler the Creator, Steve Lacy, and Miguel. And that's all we could find for R&B. My favorite type of music would be Hispanic My favorite artist would be Eslabon Armando. What's your favorite type of music, Alex?
My favorite type of music is Hispanic music. Also, my favorite artist would have to be Ivan Conejo. The most common type of music to listen to in this U.S. is R&B and hip hop. That's all for our broadcast.
Thank you guys for the music recommendations. Up next, we have weather with Quincy.
Good morning, listeners. My name is Quincy Escobar, and I will be your weather host today. This morning, we're going to be talking about weather, what the weather is going to be like on Christmas Day and today. So today, the high is going to be 49, so it's still very cold. The low tonight is going to get all the way down to -9, so if you plan on doing anything tonight, then bundle up because it's going to be freezing. The wind today isn't going to be that much. It's only going to be 8 miles an hour, but the wind gusts can get up to 20. So if you plan on doing anything all day, just wear a coat. And then Christmas Day, it's going to be a little warmer. It's going to get into the very low 50s. With the wind is going to be a little higher. It's going to be blowing 10 miles an hour with wind gusts all the way up to 18. The low at night is going to be 26, so that's a lot warmer than the low tonight. The wind gusts Christmas night will be 21 miles an hour. It's going to be not as cloudy, but yeah, that's the weather forecast.
Weather coming up these couple of weeks. I'll make sure to bundle up. And next up, we have some information about the bird flu with Dane and Keith, especially with all the sickness that has been going around.
Hello, I'm Dane White,
I'm Keith Yazzie.
and today we're going to talk a little bit about the bird flu. As some of you may know, there's a bad outbreak of bird flu spreading all throughout the United States. Now, luckily, this is mainly infecting birds and not humans, but in rare cases, it can infect people. Experts say that if you see a bird that you may think be infected, they advise you to stay away from that bird to limit risk of infection. Symptoms of bird flu in humans can range from no symptoms at all to severe symptoms. This virus is spread from birds to humans by their saliva, mucus, and feces. You can also contract the disease by getting it into your eyes, nose, or mouth, or by inhaling it. Now, what is good about this disease is that it does not spread very easily from human to human. The only way to treat this disease effectively is by resting or taking an antiviral drug to calm the virus down and ease symptoms.
We strongly recommend poultry farmers to keep an eye on their flock for any symptoms. The symptoms for watch are coughing, sneezing, nasal discharge, and other signs of respiratory distress, lack of energy and appetite, decreased water consumption, decreased egg production, or soft-shelled, mishappened eggs, incoordination, and diarrhea. The reported signs and symptoms of bird flu virus infection in humans have ranged from no symptoms or mild illness such as eye redness, or mild flu-like upper respiratory symptoms to severe, such as pneumonia requiring hospitalization, and including fever, temperature of 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 37.8 Celsius, or greater, or feeling feverish, cough, sore throat, runny or stuffy nose, muscle or body aches, headaches, fatigue, shortness of breath, or difficulty breathing. Less common signs of the symptoms include diarrhea, nausea and vomiting, or seizures.
Thank you for that very important information that can keep us safe in the future.
Cass now has some very interesting information about art and things that they are doing that they would love to share to everybody. But first, did you know art used to be an Olympic event? Now to you, Cass.
Hey y'all. Right now in Art 1, we just finished our charcoal projects, and I'm not in the other art classes, so that's all I know. But make sure that you post your art to Artsonia. And yeah, very good. piece of art that I recommend you Google is The Little Dancer of 14. That's what it's normally called. It's a statue of a dancer it was made in 1881. I forgot who it was by. But it's about how dancers are seen as perfect in the front, but most of them are actually poor. But it was very controversial at the time because it had a lot of stuff that was usually not used. Okay. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Cass. And now, since the NFL is coming to an end here pretty soon, the team that is predicted to win the Super Bowl this year is the Buffalo Bills over the Philadelphia Eagles, who I want to win are the Chiefs now. So, next we have some sport information with Eli and Alex.
Today we will be giving you the schedules for basketball and wrestling practices for both boys and girls over Christmas break. The boys and girls will have practice the 19th through the 21st, then have the rest of the week off for Christmas break. We will both start practice back up the 29th and 30th, then miss January 1st, and continue practice on the 2nd to the end of our break. So over break, we'll have a total of 4 practices. That's all for basketball. Now for Alex.
For wrestling, we'll be having practice through the whole week. We have practice all the way until the 23rd, and then have a 5-day break. Then we'll be starting practice again the 29th to the 31st. Then take a break off for New Year's on January 1st. After that, we will start practice again the 2nd to the 4th of January. And have a wrestling tournament the next day. That's all for Lincoln High School sports.
Thank you, Eli and Alex. Up next, we have Jared with 1-minute myth telling. Fun fact, a myth is actually just a traditional story, especially one concerning the early history of people or explaining some natural or social phenomenon, and typically involves supernatural beings or events. To you, Jared.
Hello, welcome to 1 Minute Myths. My name is Jared Hilger, and today I will be retelling the myth of Pandora's box. Pandora was a statue that Zeus brought to life. Some gods gifted her with intelligence, grace, and skill, but others gave her cunning, falsehood, and a restless curiosity. Pandora was sent to marry the Titan Epimetheus. As a wedding gift, Zeus gave them a bejeweled box and its key. He told them if they want to be happy, they should never open the box. You can guess what happens next. Years later, Pandora got curious, and she opened the box. Out flew all the plagues of mankind: disease, hunger, pain, and despair. But the last to leave the box was hope. This signifies that even when times are the worst, there is still hope. That is the end of my myth retelling. Thank you for listening.
Awesome myth retelling, Jared. Next, my co-anchor Abby will share some tips on how to prepare your house for the winter.
Thanks, Ari.
Hello, and here are some helpful tips you might need to keep your house warm this winter. Tip number 1 is to check your furnace filter. It is the most common cause of heating trouble. Tip number 2, if you have ceiling fans, reverse the motion so they are moving clockwise. This will help move warm air downward where it's needed to keep you warm. Tip number 3, while keeping your curtains closed will keep the heat in at night. Keeping them open during the day till about 3 p.m. will naturally heat up the room, which will help when you finally draw the curtains as the chilly nights sets in. Tip number 4, in addition to knowing how to insulate your home, draft-proofing windows is a simple, worthwhile DIY task. All you need to do is apply self-adhesive foam tape to a window frame or ask a local handyman to do the job. Drafts also occur in cracks between the window frames and the surrounding walls. It's worth considering using sealant or putty in these. Thanks for listening, and I hope you consider these tips. Now back to you, Ari.
Now to you, Isaac, for rat technique and how they could save you one day. Fun fact, it is known that the first rule of self-defense is that you have to truly believe you are being attacked to fight back. To you, Isaac.
Thank you, Ari. Hello, this is my show self-defense form. So the first rule of self-defense is to know that you are in danger and that your life could end right here. And when you are in danger, the second rule is to know when you can run away. The sword that is kept in the sheath is the man that will inherit the world, is a quote. It's better to run away than to engage in a life or death situation. But if you can't escape, the third rule is to look for a weapon, something that you might have on you, so like a firearm, a knife, a big object, a rock, something. But if you can't, then I will show you a couple of tips and tricks. And for that, I have an assistant, so we're muted. So the form is to keep your legs bent for mobility, so you can move around. Also put your arms up to protect your face. That's one of the most important rules in self-defense, is to protect the face. Very important. So, throw your arm out like you're not trying to hit me. It's good to try and hit the hand away, so there's a big opening, so you can like hit him in the throat or something, smack him in the face. And it's also good, since your arms are up here, you could block with your elbow, because your elbow can take quite the beating. It's very strong. So, and also remember that your legs are bent. You can also move out of the way, move up. But if you're mobile enough, you could probably just run. Thank you. That's my show.
Thanks, Isaac. And now next time, if I ever find myself in a rep situation, I'll use that technique, Isaac. An interesting fact about Christmas that you may not know, since Christmas is coming up soon. Jingle Bells was the first song to be played in space. And next, we have some juggling with Camden.
I'm Camden, and this is juggling history. The first evidence of juggling was found by historians in an ancient tomb. It depicted Egyptian citizens tossing balls into the air, apparently juggling them. This is the farthest juggling dates back to, around 2000 BC. There's archaeological evidence that also appeared in ancient Greece, Rome, China, and Ireland. After the arrival of the Middle Ages, juggling went through some tough times. Often jugglers during this time were prosecuted for juggling due to the stigma that only scoundrels or witches juggled. During the medieval period, juggling shined with musicians, poets, and storytellers, combining with their acts to entertain royalty. Street jugglers were also commonplace during the time, with them entertaining the street folk. In 1768, juggling first appeared as top acts in a circus, when Philip Astley hired jugglers to perform with his troupe in England. But in 1793, it first appeared in the United States. Juggling fell away with the rise of the theater. Juggling is still around today, with people still performing in circuses or getting world records, but is most often found with people having the skill as a hobby. That is juggling history.
Super impressive, Camden. And next, we have bee education with Cass and Miley. Fun fact, all bee workers are females, and all bees have 5 eyes. On to you, Cass and Miley.
Hi, I'm Cass. I'm Miley, and today we will be sharing the importance of bees to our ecosystem and their behaviors during the wintertime.
As Ari said, many don't know, but only female bees do the pollination. Female bees are called worker bees because they are the only ones who are doing all the work.
Male bees are only really around to help reproduce, which takes place in the summer. Due to the fact that reproduction only happens in the summer, adult male bees get kicked out of the hive during the winter to ensure more food for the worker and baby bees.
When worker bees feel the air getting colder, they grab the drones, the male bees, and take them outside to push the drones out of the hive or the bee house. The cold air makes it so as soon as they are thrown out, they cannot fly back up.
If you find a cold bee that may still possibly be alive, gently pick it up with your hands and bring it up to your face. Very, very gently breathe warm air onto the bee while you slowly walk into a warm house. You must remember to be very careful because bees are delicate creatures.
Like how I just did it. You pick it up, and you go like this. You're like, Yeah. At the end of winter, you could go to bee farms and look at the ground and find a few very cold drones.
There's no need to worry, though, because more male bees show up in the springtime to restart the cycle all over again. Thank you.
Thanks, Cass and Miley. Have a little dad joke to share before the next segment. If you walk into a forest and cut down a tree, but the tree doesn't understand why you cut it down, do you think it's stumped? With that, we have the final segment, a Rubik's Cube race against Ayel and Camden.
I'm Camden,
And I'm Zael.
and we're gonna have a Rubik's Cube race.
So here we have 2 pre-mixed Rubik's Cubes. On my mark, you will start. Ready, set, start. We have our victor. I will bestow upon you your glorious honor, a rat necklace made from our finest rats.
Congrats, Zael. And that's all. I hope you have a great Christmas break. I'm Ari.
And I'm Abby. Thanks for watching Bronc Broadcasting.